I'm starting off here.
So in other words, you're doing play-by-play, I'm doing color.
Okay, Calvin Castine here. We are trying something brand new. We're working with the NFHS, National Federation of High School Sports thing, I think, network, and we're going live over the internet to a very small audience because nobody knows we're doing it. So it's an experiment. We got Rick Hunter and Chris Gagno, and they're going to be taking us through the game.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chris Gagno along with Rick Hunter, Calvin Castine on camera. We're live here at Northeastern Clinton Central School, Champlain, New York. It is October 16, 2018, and this is Northern Soccer League Division I quarterfinal action. We have the Peru Indians traveling up to Champlain to play the Northeastern Clinton Cougars. And there's a mistake by Gagno, and the Cougars quickly turning on the offense, getting a shot off there, a little wide of net, and here's the Cougars will have a goal kick to start here early.
Well, early on, Abby, your scene's going to get tested here, and we'll see exactly how she responds in this quarterfinal match.
So nice long kick by Gagno. That's going to be up to number 9, Gregoire for the Cougars. Bryn Sample getting that ball near the offensive end for the first time for the Cougars as the Indians look to push up the field. A little back and forth action here by the two teams. That ball played into the middle. That's Emily Beatty with the ball. It's going to be broken up by Kaya McComb.
Emily was pressured right off by Leah Colom, didn't let her turn with a shot, and the ball ends up in the middle third.
So two Cougar defenders there taking the ball away. Marley Sample looking to move up the field against this Indian defense. Gregoire on the right side battling with Olivia Garvey, and she'll have a throw-in right here in front of us. Sample inside the 18, looking to pull that back to her right, and broken up by the Indians' defense as Hollister steps up to collect that ball. So Sample wrote off the ball there. That was Ali Post. Ali Post playing quite a few years here with the Indians. As far as I can remember, a regular name the last few years. Always mentioning her on the field, so I'd like to see how she and her team does here tonight. So for the visiting Peru Indians lineup, we have number 1 Kelly Sarbo, 2 Abby Bruce, and we have a break there by the Indians. Ball chipped into the 18. Hollister coming across from the center and clearing that one out as the Indians unable to get a good offensive look on that opportunity. Number 2 Abby Bruce, 3 Taylor Haywood, 4 Mackenzie Carpenter, 5 Emily Beatty, 6 Kaylee Jackson, 7 Amy Darst, 8 Abby Marshall, 9 Mackenzie Marino, 10 Hallie Leduc, 11 Olivia Garvey, 12 Riley Luckins, 14 Ali Post, 15 Morgan Phillips, 16 Hannah Myers, 17 Angelina Trudeau, 18 Aaron Darst, 19 Sid Mills, 20 Dakota Musso, 21 Bella Bedard, 22 Ali Beatty, and we have an Indian player going down in the corner. She's trying to chase that one down, and the Cougars will take another goal kick here. We have 23 Emily Mitchell, 24 Aaron Lawless, and the goalkeeper, number 25, Bree Russo.
It appears like the Peru Indians' Amy Chase is starting out with a 4-3-3 formation, and for the Northeastern Clinton Cougars, they're starting out with a 4-4-2.
Coach Super now likes that 4-4-2, and here we have an opportunity. Gregoire up front. She had 4 Indian players, no Cougars around to help her there as the Indians look to break midfield. Coach Super now liking that 4-4-2 coming out with his defense. In the past, some good offensive players. Seems like a little short in the offensive end every now and then, but we'll have an offsides call there. But I kind of ate my own words last year, Mr. Hunter, as he went with that, and I wasn't so sure about it, but he's got to be ready. He won the sectional championship last year, knocking off Beatmantown and going on to regionals. So,
well, we know that was quite an experience for the girls last year, and there's been a lot of pressure put on them this year to try to perform. And right now there's a lot of midfield play, but I think you'll see Coach Superdaw as well as Coach Chase will adjust as the game continues.
And that's a key to success in this game is you put out your offense and defense the way you feel is best against the team you're facing, and then I think it's who makes the best adjustments throughout. Who can make the best adjustments ends up usually winning the game. So here's a through ball played up to Gabby Dumas, and the Indians playing that out of bounds.
The Cougars seem to be running that diamond in the back, and Gagno's there to hopefully pick up anything that kind of drops in behind. Right now there's typically a lot of midfield play, and there's a lot of counterattacks that are happening at quite a quick pace.
That ball played to the middle as Mackenzie Carpenter picks that one up. She has some green in front of her, sending it to the outside, and that'll be out of bounds right in front of the Cougars defense as they look to get this back in play quickly.
In the first two games that these two teams met, the Cougars were able to find a victory in the first meeting, and then in the second meeting, these two teams tied.
I believe it was 1-1 tie down in Peru, and a 3-1 victory here for the Cougars. And the Cougars actually, there's a nice ball played into Houghton. Houghton taking that off the body right into the goalkeeper as she comes out to the corner of the 6-yard box. That was Bree Brousseau making that save. And the Cougars, I believe the first game up here were down 1-0 and ended up coming back to win that 3-1. So good win early in the season for the Cougars to get their season started. Bryn Sample takes this to the end line.
She tried to step around number 14 Allie Post and was met with the inside back, and the ball goes out of bounds, and it will be a Peru goalie kick.
And we'll have Kelly Sarbo coming in to give Emily Beatty a rest here with about 7.5 minutes gone in the first half. Bella Bedard looking to step over that ball as that's taken by Sample. Sample crossing into the 6-yard box, right across the foot of Gregoire as Brousseau grabs that one. So Gregoire with a great opportunity there. Just had to get a foot on that and wasn't able to. So good opportunity for the Cougars, and we'll see if Peru can counterattack after that offensive opportunity.
Well, I'll tell you, Peru's got to build on that opportunity that went by the wayside for the Cougars, and right now they're up into the Cougar lower third, and number 16
Anna Myers
is trying to make a play to the middle, and it's kind of been pushed back out to the center of the field.
Myers again battling with Sample. We'll have a foul called here. That's going to be against Sample. She getting the arm out a little bit there, and the Cougars will hold at the 18.
Well, this is the part that I think makes games are the restarts.
There's a nice ball by Allie Post right into the 18, and that's McComb getting her head on it. And the Indians sending in 3 players from the far side looking for that ball as the Cougars look to transition here. Bryn Sample with a nice step over move, splitting the defense, and I believe we're going to have a foul called there.
Bryn Sample actually got her foot inside of the feet of number 21 and was able to kind of trip her up, and the Peru Indians will have a direct kick in the central third.
So Ellie Post, the Bigfoot here for the Indians, taking that free kick, sends it right to the middle. Gagnon volley on that one out of the air. That ball headed into the center of the field. Sarbo looking to get her first touch of the game, and that's broken up on the far side by McComb, and she sends it out at midfield. So the lineup for the Cougars tonight, we have number 1 Kaya McComb, number 2 Emma Fredette, 3 Addison Sample, 4 Gabby Dumas, 5 Sarah Grennan, 6 Miriam Waktumi, 7 Maggie LaFountain, 8 Amy Visconti, 9 Allison Gregoire,
Okay.
11 Adriana Hollister, 12 Brindley LaFountain, 13 Marley Sample, 14 Haley Laterno, 15 Leah Colombe, 16 Alexa Cronkite, 17 Carissa Gay, 18 Bryn Sample, 21 Caitlin Houghton, 22 Olivia Gagnon, 23 Taylor Goodrow, 24 Emily Boer, number 10 Elizabeth Prairie, and the goalkeeper, starting goalkeeper for the Cougars, Abrielle Racine. Our referees for tonight's game, we have Mr. Jim Schutz right here in front of us, and on the far side,
Gary Kaiser.
Gary Kaiser.
And we have brought JV player for the Cougars.
I got that
Best
one.
10?
Yep, 10 Elizabeth Prairie, I mentioned her.
All right, on the ball.
And into the game for the Cougars, we have Emma Fredette and number 7 Maggie LaFountain.
Okay. Okay.
So Hallie LeDuc looking to play that one up the field to Mackenzie Carpenter. Carpenter looking at the 18, misplay by the Cougars. We got Fredette in there for the Cougars, playing some defense as that ball rolled past a Indian player. So the Cougars getting beaten the far side, and Hollister with a nice job heading that ball out.
Okay.
As that shot's blocked by Kate Houghton.
Okay, so close the roll counts on it. All right. Okay, great.
A long throw in there as Gagnon sends that one out to McComb. Good job by Bryn Sample and playing that one just a little too far as Bella Bedard sends that one up to the 18.
That just looks like a barcode for the computer. I don't see anything. 10-906.
So the Cougars will set up for a goal kick here. The Cougars just competing in their final regular season game, playing against Beatmantown, and Cougars falling to the Beatmantown Eagles 3-2. Good effort by the Cougars in that game, although not victorious, and a nice hard shot there taken as Racine dives to her right and makes that save. So the Cougars with a good effort at Beatmantown, unfortunately didn't come out a winner in that game, but definitely showing that they can play with the Beatmantown Eagles, and winner of this game will be facing the Beatmantown Eagles on this coming Friday night, 5 p.m. at George Brenler Field in Shazy. That'll be the semifinals in Class B action for the girls. So we'll have 2 substitutes. We have Emily Boyer and Alexi Cronkite coming into the game. Waiting at midfield for the Indians is Taylor Haywood. So Hollister taking that goal kick. That's up to Maggie LaFountain as it's turned over to Riley Luckins, and she sends it into the 18. Another hard shot taken right across the approximately 8 yards out as the Indians unable to get anything on that one, it'll be out of bounds, and the Indians will have a throw in. So we'll have number 3, Taylor Haywood, coming into the game for the Indians.
Okay, I just got to find the actual game here. So, close the training. Produce stream. Okay, I've got my
And the Cougars with everyone back playing defense
I'm just going to click launch
at this time.
for live stream.
Indians defense holding at the midfield area.
Came up and said,
Colm looking to clear that one out. It goes off the body of Luckens, staying inside the 18, and the Cougars finally send that one out as Ali Post picks up that ball.
NFHS network producer. You get the capture device settings on the left and the production settings on the right. No, not right now. Not.
Marley Sample looking up for Emma Fredette as Ware steps in, and she takes that ball off of the nose, and Mr. Schutz checking on her to make sure she's fine. She shakes her head yes, and play will go on.
It is online. Yep, that's online.
So Carpenter battling at the midfield area with Marley Sample and Haley Letourneau. And the Indians break out on the far side, looking to carry this ball upfield. They have a wing breaking down on the right side, and that ball nicely played over. Big cross into the box. Racine out to grab it and picks that one up at the 6-yard box. So the Indians early on here in the first half putting pressure on the Cougars. A lot of this play has been in the Indians' offensive end. Racine having to be on her toes up to this point as the Cougars chip this ball into the 18. Misplay there by the defense, and nice job there by Bruce. So she's on her toes as she comes out sliding and picks that one up.
Okay.
Kelly Sarbo sending that one up as we have a collision there between Taylor Haywood and Kaya McComb. McComb going down, and Mr. Schutz will call a foul as Hollister will step in to take this free kick. So all the players hanging around midfield as this free kick's taken, and a low roller right to the Indians.
Correct.
Ware looking back to her defense. That's Leah McComb sending it up the wing, and that'll go out of bounds as the Cougars didn't have anyone in the area.
Okay.
So the Indian fans calling for a handball there as play goes on. In the middle of the field, this ball played over to Haywood. Haywood with 2 defenders in front of her, waiting for her team to catch up to her. Haywood carrying that in, and Colomb will send it over the sideline.
Logo. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. And there it is.
I don't even know.
So nice throw into the top of the 18 as Houghton looks to.
I don't know if Rick needs them.
Okay.
Need the lights?
Okay.
Houghton was looking to clear that one out and make a run up the field, and the Cougars will send in 4 substitutes. We have Gagnon back into the game at sweeper position. We have Brindley LaFountain.
Right now it's just showing the trailers for the NFHS.
Ali Gregoire, and I didn't catch the other player that was coming in, so I apologize for that, as the Cougars throw it in right in front of their bench.
Right inside. So I'm going to click go on there again.
Nice ball played into Gregoire in the middle of the field. She'll have 3 defenders in front of her as she was looking up for Sample. Sample looking to split the defense and receive a pass there, but 4 Indian defenders breaking that one up. So LaFountain will have some time here as she receives that ball, cuts it back, Nice ball played up to Gregoire. Behind the defense, Gregoire looking to break in, and the arm is up on the far side as we'll have an offsides called there on the Cougars. Not sure if it was on Sample, Gregoire, or both, but Indians will be taking this free kick on the infraction. So the Cougars and Indians are the only quarterfinal matchup. I incorrectly spoke the last time I was on air. I had assumed that Saranac Lake was a Class B school this year, and I was looking at the brackets that came out, and they in fact are a C school this year in girls soccer. So only 5 teams. First, second, and third team with a bye into these semifinals on Friday night at Shazy, and we have the Cougars, the number 4 seed, and the Peru Indians, number 5 seed, playing here tonight for the chance to play against number 1 Beatmantown. The other semifinal match will have the Saranac Chiefs playing against the Plattsburgh High School Hornets. So Post taking that ball away. She's going to send a long ball up as Hollister breaks that one up. She goes down, and we'll have a foul called on Post.
If she can score on this one, she'll make the Channel 5 news.
Yeah, we do have Channel 5 news here again tonight. Good to see them up in the North Country. I'm sure we'll see them again Friday night at Shazy, and Gregoire will be called for offsides again here as she just gets a little behind the defense as that ball is played, and she's just going to have to keep an eye on that last defender, as it really didn't appear that Peru was pulling up to try to pull her offsides. And Bella Bedard, number 21 for the Indians, taking this free kick. And a long ball played up, and that's right to an Indian player. She breaks in, takes a shot, and in the back of the net. That was Riley Luckins with a beautiful shot as that ball was chipped over and between the Cougar defense, and no questions about that shot. Racine not with a chance on it as the Peru Indians go up 1-0 with 17:40 remaining here in the first half.
And when you go on the road, that's all you can ask for, is to get that first goal. That first goal is monumental, and right now the Indians have a 1-0 lead with 17 minutes and change remaining in this first half.
12 from 21.
So the official, Mr. Schutz, confirming Riley Luckins with a goal. That was assisted by Bella Bedard, taking that free kick from just on this side of midfield right in front of us. Beautiful ball played there, and the Cougars defense, I'm not sure, caught off guard or what was up there, but letting that ball through, and a beautiful shot taken. So I would have to bet, Mr. Hunter, that from what I've seen the last couple times these teams have played, including last year, the Peru Indians coaching staff are going to pull them back on defense.
Well, I think they'll probably bunker in, and it's going to force Northeastern to kind of play the ball negative and kind of open up in behind once those Peru forwards kind of step up. And the other thing is that Northeastern's going to be forced to shoot and not look for that perfect point where they can take that shot.
Gagno sending this one forward, and she will look to get it up the field to Gabby Dumas. And I do remember during the 1-1 tie, nice ball played up to Gregoire, and she'll be called again for offsides. So Cougars, that'll be their third offsides here in the first half.
Yes, sir. Good. No. Well, I think we're using the different camcorder.
And we'll have Bella Bedard taking that free kick for the Indians.
Okay.
And McCombs
Okay.
stepping up with that ball, and she'll have that taken away. That nice tackle by Allie Post. Post looking to switch fields, playing it to the far side. And Kayla Jackson will play that up the field as Gagnon steps up to take that one away.
So it's just the settings on the actual camera itself. That's
Long ball played in by the Indians. Racine
Okay.
stepping to the side of the net, and she will pick that one up at the end line and come out to the top of her 18 as she throws it to a wide open Gabby
Okay.
Dumas. Dumas with
All right, and that's the
hesitation there as it
But
goes
other
out of
than that,
bounds
let's
off
get
of her.
that.
As the Indians look to transition here on offense.
Okay. All right. And the scoreboard itself is it has to come directly. There's the necessary apparatus here to connect to the computer for that, or does it go right in the mixer?
So Cougars playing a ball in as Bree Brusso, once again on her toes, races out to the 18 and punts that ball away to midfield. Cronkite up to Sample.
So it's one of the video files?
Gregoire looking to play this one, chips it back into the middle, and
I see it.
Allie Post
I see the
will
title-
clear this one up the field.
I see the school copyright billboard.
Hollister with a good hard tackle as McComb picks that one up, looking across the field. Gets it by a
So the one
couple
you
of
would like is a
Peru
scoreboard.
defenders as it rolls out of bounds, and we'll have a Cougar throw, and we have two Indians at midfield awaiting to substitute.
Very good. Easy enough.
Houghton and
Okay.
McComb back and forth. McComb to the 18, looking to take a shot and unable to
Okay.
get that ball off as the defense stepped up. And as I stated earlier, the Indians are going to pack it in on defense. They had
Bye-bye.
approximately 7 players across the top of the 18 as the Cougars were looking to get a shot off there, and we'll have substitutes coming in. It's Maggie LaFountain for the Cougars, and we have number 16, Hannah Myers, and number 5, Emily Beatty for the Indians. So we're down to 13 and a half minutes here in the first half. The Indians holding a 1-0 lead over the Cougars in this quarterfinal action here at Northeastern Clinton. And ball taken away as Hallie LeDuc looks up the field, and Gagnon safely playing that one out to midfield as she had Riley Luckins closing in on her.
Well, this is a very similar situation to what Peru scored on about 5 minutes ago.
And Hollister at the top of the 18 with that ball, as there was no Indians around to collect the ball as it was played in by their defense. And they will work the right side with Kaylee Jackson carrying it to the corner. Jackson looking for a cross. Slow bouncer as McComb will send that one up the field to Bryn Sample. Sample with immediate pressure on her. And I can definitely say right now, these 50-50 balls, the Peru Indians are all over them. And Racine picking that ball up as Emily Beatty was waiting for it at the 6-yard line.
Yeah, the Northeastern Clinton Cougars have got to do a better job in terms of marking inside of that 12-yard line.
So Beatty looking to cross that ball in the middle field, and Cronkite stepping up on that ball. We'll have a misplay there by the Indians as 2 Cougars are closing in, Gregoire and LaFountain, and Bella Bedard playing that one up the field. Combe playing the ball to the middle of the field, and Maggie LaFountain looking to put a little pressure on as the Indians playing it safe and send that one out of bounds. And we'll have number 13, Marley Sample, coming back into the game. Sample scoring a beautiful goal the other night, coming down the left side against Beatmantown, and I think she is, I give her credit, beautiful shot. I think she caught the goalie off guard because the goalie was ready for a cross, and Marley, with her skill, chipped it right over the top of the goalie's head into the far post, and scoring the Cougars' first goal. So,
well, without a doubt, Marley Sample is one of the CVAC leaders to watch. She's one with the technical skill, and sometimes she can kind of fool you.
So we got a little stoppage here. We're going to have a reset of the clock from 10:37 to, I believe, 10:55 at the request of Mr. Schutz. So we'll be back in action here. Clock will start on the throw-in, and that is Gabby Dumas throwing this ball in for the Cougars. Leah Cologne being shielded off that ball as it's sent out of bounds, and the Cougars will throw it in once more.
Well, all the play right now seems to be in the right-hand channel. Cougars have got to kind of try to move that ball around and give themselves some opportunity where they can create numeric advantage.
Gagnon playing a long ball up over the defense. Houghton on the far side looking to beat the defense. She doesn't. She is taken down at the top of the 18, and no call as Bree Brusso picks that one up. So looked as though she was going to break in all alone, and took a tumble there, and play goes on. So good look there for the Cougars, unable to capitalize as we're down just under 10 minutes here in the first half. The Indians still holding that 1-0 lead.
Well, I'm sure Coach Supernaut is scratching his head, wondering why Northeastern wasn't awarded a direct kick from just outside the arc.
That would have been a good opportunity for the Cougars. Have Gagnon in the game, who's got probably the strongest foot on the team, I'd say. And as we've seen a couple times this year, she's sunk them from about 25 yards out, and would have been a great opportunity there for the Cougars. But what ifs are what ifs, and game goes on, and they're going to have to find another way to capitalize and even this score up. So Gagnon stepping over to the far side to play that as Leah Colombe stepped over to fill her position. Sample playing a long ball up. Gabby Dumas onsides into the 18. Brusso out. All she has to do is chip it over, gets a shot off, and that's off the hands of Brusso and just wide of the goal. So great opportunity there. Good heads up by the Cougars playing that up to Gabby Dumas. She had the right idea. Low. You got a tall goalkeeper there. She kept it low, looking for that far corner, and almost had it as Brusso got her hands on it.
Everything began back in the actual middle third, where Marley Sample played a great ball, but what Northeastern has struggled with all season long is the timing of their runs, and Gabby Dumas timed that run and gave the Northeastern Clinton Cougars an opportunity to tie this game.
So this will be the first corner kick of the game. Cougars taking this one here as they're set up inside the 18. Lexi Cronkright just outside the 18 looking for that free ball. And a corner taken there, and it's going to be right on the post and in the back of the net. Appears to be a misstep there by the Indians. Two defenders on the post. Brusso puts her hands up, and next thing you know, the ball's in the back of the net. So Cougars, I'm not sure if Marley Sample actually got a foot or a body on that, but somehow ends up in the back of the net, tying this game at 1-1 with 8:07 left here in the first half.
And that's what happens when miscommunication occurs on a restart. And the Cougars are able to kind of tie this score and give themselves that momentum needed heading into the last 8 minutes of this first half.
7:21. 11.
All right, from Mr. Schutz. Our goal scored by Adriana Hollister, assisted by Kate Houghton on that corner kick. So I mentioned Marley Sample. I wasn't sure who got their foot on that one or body, and You have to give that one to Adriana Hollister, even in this score here at 1-1.
Well, the freshman for Northeastern Clinton kind of steps up and kind of couldn't have a more opportune time of the year to score a big goal.
Well, Hollister is definitely an athletic girl. She stepped up and done a great job this year. She's been put back in the defensive position, playing all over on the defense, and definitely has the speed back there and the physical capabilities to do a good job, and she's done that. So we look forward to her in the next few years. Another ball played into the 18 on the Cougars' second corner kick. Hollister going to play this one again, and that's a high ball over the top of the crossbar and out of bounds.
Well, right now, Amy Chase has got to be scratching her head with the opportunities that Northeastern has had in the last 4 minutes. Peru's got to do a better job cleaning up the markings inside of that 18-yard box, and they've also got to start with the counterattack much quicker. Get the ball out of the feet.
And McComb doing a fine job there, stepping up together. That one as it just got a little out of her reach, and Hollister will try to keep this one in the Cougars' offensive end as she's called for a foul there, and the Indians will take this free kick. So a long ball play there, and that's going to be up to the 18, and the Indians looking to get a shot off as that's broken up by Brindley LaFountain. As Riley Luckins, number 12 at the 18, looking to gather that ball, looking for her second goal of the game. She had a fine goal here earlier in the first half as the Cougars send a long ball up. We got LaFountain and then Sample closing in. And Allie Beatty clears that one out. McComb with the ball up to Sample. Sample playing it, both players onside as they go into the 18, and just a little far out of reach for Sample as Russo comes out and punts this one away.
Well, one of the things Coach Super and I must have been working on toward the end of last week and leading up to this quarterfinal game is the timing of the runs. The Cougars definitely seem to be much more inept to kind of making those timely runs as necessary.
So we'll have another corner kick here for the Cougars. We'll have Leah Colomb stepping up to take this, and as we've seen early in the first half here, Mr. Hunter, the Cougars called offsides I think 3 or 4 times, and seems as though the last few times down the field they've figured out their timing, as you were saying. And as far as the Indians, one thing I noticed, their defense is playing in a straight line right now, and that's hurting them as the Cougars are able to chip that ball over the defense.
Yeah, usually you try to operate in a swoosh where you actually have a person playing pressure, one playing cover, and the other 2 players playing balance. But when you play flat like that, it's very easy to get hurt with the ball over the top.
And Hollister at top blocks, lining it up for a shot, and that'll be over the top of the net again. So Hollister with 2 good looks there from about 20 yards out, both over the top, but I'm sure she's going to figure that one out and get that ball down a little bit on her next one.
One of the things you seem to see a lot of at the high school level in soccer is when they strike the ball, they forget the last and most integral part of striking the ball, and that is following through.
So this ball played up to the Cougars defense. We'll have Gagno stepping back, and she'll be the last defender back for the Cougars at this time as she plays that one off of Emily Beatty out of bounds. So we'll have substitutes here for the Cougars. Allie Gregoire coming in for Maggie LaFountain. So Gagno with time here as there's no Indian around her, and just about took a little too much time there, and she's going to have to be careful of that because there's nobody behind her to help her out if she misplayed it.
Well, Leah Colomb had gone central, and Bryn LaFountain had kind of dropped back, but although the timing was a little bit off, if Olivia Gagne wouldn't have been able to get a little bit of a touch on that, who knows what would have happened for the Indians.
So the Cougars breaking out here. Rin Sample making a run. She is onside. Brusso coming out. Race to the ball, and that is deflected out by Brusso. So good heads up there by Brusso. And Sample has some wheels, but I think she sized up the situation there and knew she wasn't going to win if there was a big collision. So she backed off a little bit, but I think I would do the same if I was in her position.
Well, I'll tell you, Amy Chase has got to be happy with freshman Bila Bedard, because she was able to get a piece of that and keep Bryn Sample from actually having a good offensive opportunity.
Gagne playing another long ball up as the Cougars will send two in. 3 Indian defenders, and they're able to turn that one away. McComb's stepping up here, looking to keep the pressure on, and she'll cut it back across the field into the 18, and not coming up with anything there as Houghton takes a long shot. Brusso with a one hop picks it up for the 6-yard box. We're just under 2 minutes here in the first half, and we have a 1-1 tie between the Indians and the Cougars, and if no one scores in the next minute 47 seconds, we'll have to see what adjustments these two teams are going to make at halftime, Mr. Hunter, to try to come out and pick up the lead in the second half. And I know you coach girls soccer. What would you be telling your team right now, this team at halftime?
Well, if I was Amy Chase, I'd be telling my backs and my number 6 and 8 midfielders, my defensive midfielders, that they need to be aware of their gapping. They also need to be aware in terms of how they're playing their back right now is more of a flat back, and I think they have to play more of that concave where, again, you have people able to kind of pressure the ball, but at the same time still have the necessary coverage. If I'm the Cougars, I would be looking to do a lot of the same things, although they've got to clean up a little bit in their lower third.
So some good advice there from Coach Hunter. He's the modified coach, correct?
That's correct.
And how many years now?
This is my 4th year.
4th year. Time flies by, because I remember your first year when you started. So the Indians looking for an opportunity here as Gagne makes a tackle on that ball and it goes out of bounds. So Indians with 2 players looking to gather that ball, and McComb will work far side, bringing it to the middle. Once again in between 2 Indian defenders, and Brusso comes out to the 18. So the way the Indians are playing now, Brusso's going to have to be on her toes if the Cougars are able to keep passing the ball up. And nice effort there by Bryn Sample as Marley Sample plays it up towards the 18. And we're down to our final few seconds here in the first half. That will close out the first half. This is quarterfinal action. Section 7 Class B girls soccer, and we're at Northeastern Clinton. We have the Cougars and Peru Indians in a 1-1 tie.
We're back.
All right, welcome back, fans. We're back in action here. Start of the second half between the Northeastern Cougars in the maroon and the visiting Peru Indians. Indians sporting the white uniforms tonight as they look to put on some offensive pressure. This is Hallie Leduc coming to this side, battling with number 1 Kaya McComb. McComb turning the corner, and she's being rode up the field. Leduc had that forearm out on her back, and referee right here in front of us making that call as Gagne, number 22, steps over to take this free kick. Gagne playing up to the middle of the field, looking for Sample. Bryn Sample trying to get through 2 defenders there, and that's sent out of bounds by the Indians defense. So
Junior Olivia Garvey was able to kind of clear that ball, but it'll give the Cougars a throw-in.
So Houghton taking that one down in the corner, just a little too much on it as it rolls over the sideline. Houghton crossing that ball in, and nobody there for the Cougars offensively as the Indians send that one back to their end line, and they'll look to turn it up the field. Mackenzie Carpenter with some green in front of her sends it up to midfield. Gagne looking up for number 9, Allie Gregoire in the middle. She's going to switch fields. Cougars looking to transition here, getting away from that Indians defense, and just a little too much on that as Bella Bedard throws that ball in. Bedard with the assist on the Indians' lone goal in the first half. Beautiful ball played up from just on the other side of midfield as the number 12 Riley Luckins with a beautiful shot beating Racine to go up 1-0 early.
Well, in the first 3 minutes, it appears like there's a lot of midfield play going in both directions, north to south and south to north.
Well, a little bit like the start of the first half is Fountain with a nice cross, and Carpenter out to get that one, Brousseau, and she's able to pick that one up as Marley Sample is closing in. She bobbled that one just a little bit, but was able to come up with it. And
you've got to try to create a little bit of an opportunity when possible and take away some of that goaltender's opportunities to see the ball.
Play that one up the field as Cronkite stepped in front of it, and almost a big mistake there by the Cougars. Going to have to keep their eyes open and not allow that stuff to happen, as could inadvertently create a good scoring opportunity for the Indians. So Carpenter playing that one in as Taylor Haywood was closing in. Racine picking that ball up as she'll trot to the 18 for her first punt here in the second half.
It appears like Amy Chase has talked to her defensive backs, and they seem to be playing a little bit better and not that flat back system.
Well, it's a little back and forth action here. Nobody with any real great opportunities. I think the team's feeling each other out, looking to pick apart the other team's weakness here based on their adjustments that they make from halftime. And
it appears like Amy Chase has got her outside midfielders coming back and assisting a little bit more in the channels than what they did in the first half.
So Marley Sample sending that one off her knee into the box, and an easy save there as Brousseau comes out to the right side of her net. That ball sent off the side of her foot and out of bounds to the Cougars fans right here in front of us. Bryn Sample looking to cut that one back as Ali Post will send this ball up the field. And that ball played behind the Indians defense. Bryn Sample making a run, and Brousseau out again. So Brousseau being kept busy here in the first half. Cougars putting some pressure on, looking to get that second goal of the game, and we'll have the Indians transition in here as Leah Colombe steps up on defense looking for Kate Houghton. So Carpenter having this one broke up. Macomb making a run. All the Indians converging on her. She sends it outside, and that's sent across LaFountain. Marley Sample in the middle looking to get a shot off. She's got two Indian defenders, sending a nice ball outside away from the defense. And we'll have a whistle on the far side, and that'll be against the Cougars, and the Indians will have a free kick here.
Well, I think in the first 5.5 minutes, it appears like the Cougars have had the majority of the possession, but they can't seem to capitalize once they enter the upper third.
So Leah Colombe set to throw this ball in. Referee backing her up several steps, and she'll take this throw in, looking for Marley Sample. Ball sent into the middle to Hallie LeDuc. That ball blocked, and the Indians with an opportunity here as she's taken down. That is Taylor Haywood taken down right at the 18. I'll have to see if the referee calls a penalty kick or is going to place this at the 18. It appeared as though the initial foul took place outside the 18 as Haywood went down inside the 18, and it will be a direct kick here for the Peru Indians.
And I know that's going to be a controversial call throughout this game, because at this time this could be a big momentum boost for the Indians.
Well, I agree that it definitely was a foul. That foul had to be called, and I think 1-1 game here is placed at the 18. That's where the foul took place, and Racine telling her defense where to go as they set up wall. Hallie Leduc set to take this one. She'll chip the ball in, and it's off the post, and it'll roll out towards the 18. So lucky break there for the Cougars as Leduc put that one off the post, and she had Racine beat on that one. As the Indians with the best scoring opportunity of the game here, with 7 minutes and 20 seconds gone by here in the second half, as the Cougars will look to transition up the field. So just a good example there of the Cougars putting the pressure on here early with greater opportunities, but it only takes that one set play or one mistake for a team to sink that ball in the back of the net. So some good footwork there by Leduc as she plays it in misstep by the Cougar right in front of the net. Racine with a big save. As Taylor Haywood was all alone, all she had to do was put that one in the back of the net and puts it right to the hands of Racine. So good heads-up play there by Racine, saving her team on that play.
Abrielle made herself big as big could be and was able to kind of knock the ball down and pick it up, and the Cougars are now transitioning in the opposite direction.
And we'll have Fredette turning the wheels on the far side as she goes down the sideline, turning it in to Bryn Sample, and that'll go out of bounds. And a good opportunity down here for the Indians. That was Taylor Haywood all alone in front, number 3. And, you know, people will say you're all alone, just you and the goalie. And he couldn't get that one in. And I don't think, unless you're in that position, you don't realize. I guess the stress and everything else going into that play, it's not as easy as what it looks just to put that in the back of the net. So Indians once again putting some pressure on here. We got Haywood and Leduc working together. Those two names being mentioned a lot here in the second half. Ball played into the 18 and almost past the foot of Gagno. Gagno stepping across, and good thing she grabbed that one. She had Riley Luckins looking for her second goal of the game, and we'll have a whistle on the far side.
Well, I think Coach Supernau right now is probably asking his backs to communicate a little bit more and be aware of their shape, so that those opportunities with those through balls don't allow the Indians to take advantage.
So the Indians, Bella Bedard will be taking this free kick. Cougars defense holding at the 18. Everybody back but 2. And that'll be sent out to Fredette. Fredette with a lot of room in front of her, and she just sends that one to the Indians defense. So Fredette, first year up on varsity, and Sample making a run of this ball, turning the wheels on, and got around the first player. Couldn't get around the second, and good look there as that was sent up the field.
Kaylee Jackson was able to get a foot on it for the Indians and keep the ball away from Bryn Sample.
Marley Sample across the 18, takes a hard shot and right into the stomach there of Brusso. So good hard shot there by Marley Sample, and that's what the Cougars got to keep doing. One of their weaknesses this year is failing to shoot the ball. The Cougars seem to always be waiting for that perfect shot, and as you get into these playoffs, and if you want to move into the later rounds of the state playoff, you got to shoot that ball. You can't wait for that perfect opportunity. So we'll have an offsides call here against the Cougars. It looks like LaFountain came back to play that ball from the offsides position.
I know in discussion with Coach Supernau, that's one of the frustrations that he's expressed, is that the Cougars have struggled getting the ball out of their feet and being able to shoot the ball quickly. And that last opportunity, Kate Houghton made a nice run at the far post, so if BD would have misplayed that ball, there might have been an opportunity for the Cougars.
Quick restart here, and almost over the head of Gagno as the Indians were looking to catch them off guard. And honestly, the Cougar defense was cut off guard. That's played backwards by Cronkray and Hollister there, as she's being rode with a forearm. No call as play goes on. Hallie Leduc playing that back to her defense.
Well, Hallie Leduc, I think, has had the 50-50 balls against the 9th grader from Northeastern Clinton. There's no question that Adriana Hollister is a physical player, but right now Leduc seems to be getting the best of the 50-50 balls.
Good play there by Fredette, and we will have an offsides call there against Bryn Sample. So Sample coming back for that ball, called for offsides, and second one in a row here for the Cougars. There's a low ball played by the Indians. Cougars unable to trap that one, and we'll have some kickball going on here at midfield. Gagno stepping up to play this. A misplay there by her, as Hollister once again is there to clean up that mistake for the Cougars.
Well, right now it seems like the Cougars are playing too compact. They've got to learn to kind of spread out a little bit and take advantage of those channels and their speed that they were able to in that first half.
And Sample turning the wheels on the far side on the end line, sends a long ball in, and that is picked up by Russo. So we'll have a foul called there on Gabby Dumas as she looked to go over the top of the Indian player, and it's about the same distance on the set play in the first half that the Indians scored on, and almost looks like the same thing here, and Hollister getting her foot on that one as Hallie Leduc was looking to pick up that ball. So a little miscommunication there by the Cougars. Cronkite and Hollister unsure who was going to play that ball, and the Cougars will look to move up into the offensive end. Sample looking over for her cousin Bryn Sample, and that's broken up by the Indians defense.
Well, the Indians' backs are definitely playing a much better second half than what they did in that first half. Communication seems to be clear. They're pressuring the ball well, and they're winning a lot of those 50 balls in their own third.
And a nice long shot there by Kaya McComb, and that's her shot right there. Just got to pick that corner. So good look there by Kaya McComb as Cougars with a mistake there. Gagno stepping up. She'll be battling to the sideline as arms fly, and the referee letting it go on. So it appears as though here in this 1-1 tie in the quarterfinal action, he's going to let it go, and he calls a foul on there as it looked as though Luckins might have lost her balance, and the fans not happy with that call right there. So this is trouble here for the Cougars as they got a free, Indians got a free direct kick here.
Well, the Indians have about a 40-yard kick to kind of reach that 6-yard box. And right now, the official's coming out and kind of pushing the ball back about another 4 yards.
So Allie Post set to take this kick, and we're going to have to see if the Indian, if she asks for 10 yards, no, she'll take it. And that ball sent into the 18. A long ball played back to Gagno, and she'll chip that one out. So Fredette turning that back to the inside as the Indians take that away. Ball up to the middle of the field as Sample battling in the middle. McComb getting in on the play now, and that'll be sent far side, and it appears as though it'll go out of bounds right near the Cougar bench. We'll have substitutes here for both teams. We have Brinley LaFountain in. I believe that is number 11, Olivia Garvey on the far side, and not sure who the other player that was coming in for the Indians, as Indians chasing this ball down, and Russo over to grab that ball to prevent a corner kick for the Cougars.
Well, one adjustment that Coach Supernaw has made in the second half is he has moved Kai McComb up to kind of play off Marley Sample. I think he's looking to see if Sample can distribute and McComb can take advantage of those offensive opportunities.
Gagno knocking that ball down, playing it up to her midfield to Sabila Fountain. Good tackle there by both players. Sample coming away with it, and that ball will bounce in the middle of the field as the Peru team sends it up to midfield. We'll have that ball played to the outside. Chased down by the Indians and chipped into the 6-yard box, and Racine will grab that one.
The ball was played out by number 14, Allie Post, to Myers on the left channel, and the ball was easily handled by Abrielle Racine.
Nice ball played into the middle of the field. Luckins has that taken away, and McComb sending a long ball up, and the race will be on as Fredette turns the wheels on. She'll go to the that's Allison Gregoire with the ball on the far side. Steps over, looks into the 18, and broken up by the defense. So a lot of time there for Leah Colomb, and unfortunately playing that ball right to the Indians defense as they look to quickly transition, and Gagno doing a good job of stepping up on that one. And I think if she would have stopped or started to backpedal, she would have been in trouble there as the Indians were running on her at that point.
Well, the senior Gagno is pretty composed back there, and when she gets that first touch, she's always looking to start that counterattack pretty quick, and she stepped at the right time.
So a quick throw by the Cougars on the far side. Allie Gregoire looking to gather that one in, and just a little too much on it for her, and Gabby Dumas will step up to throw this ball in. So Kaya McComb looking to fill that gap in the center. Huge gap there for the Cougars. And Colomb playing that ball, looking to the far side for Bryn Sample, and sent back out. And I think that's one of the things the Cougars are going to have to keep an eye on right here is, and they've struggled with it this season, is if you look, when their halfbacks in line move up, they get bunched up, and then you look at the defense, and in between is no man's land, and their opposing teams are able to pick up those free balls in the middle. So if they're going to play that stopper sweeper force set in the back, someone's got to step up and fill that position in and not allow the Indians to pick that free ball up and transition up on offense.
Yeah, I think sometimes Kaya McComb actually will step up in that offensive role, and as you indicated, there's that huge gap between the midfield and those fullbacks.
And it'll be just Gagno back on defense. She's got two Indians looking to track that ball down, and Allie Post coming across midfield looking to the outside, and that'll be broken up. So McComb has been to the go-to when you see the Cougars get down this season. McComb traditionally, before she came to varsity, was an offensive player, and she's kind of been turned into a defensive-minded player. She's done an outstanding job, and one of the great things about her as an athlete is she does what's best for the team and doesn't complain about it.
Well, when she first started in the modified level, that was my first year coaching, and I actually used her in the number 9 spot as a natural striker. She has an incredible ability around the net, but as Coach Supernaw and also Coach Tremblay at the JV level, they've done a nice job teaching her the defensive side of the ball.
And she's a very unselfish team player. And this year, in these close games when they're down or they need that goal, and Coach moves her up to offense, it usually ends up turning out positive for them because she always seems to be scoring a goal at the time the Cougars need it.
Right now, the Cougars have got to get the ball on the ground and play possession.
So misplay there by the Cougars as the Indians go back and forth, and Cronkite looking to chip that one out. Another long ball played in as Hollister steps up to play that one, and a little kickball going on here between the two teams, and the Indians looking to get a shot off here. That's going to be Hallie Leduc sending it across to the far side and just over the head of Riley Luckins, and Fredette will try to shield that ball from the Indian players. It rolls out of bounds, and we'll have a Cougar throw in right next to the flag.
Well, Kaya McComb, I think, played a little too direct on Haley Leduc, and Haley Leduc almost was able to have an opportunity off the arc.
Well, the high ball chipped in here by the Indians, and ground plate sending that one out as Hallie Leduc gathers it, looking to take a long shot, unable to get a good foot on that one as the Cougars safely just kicked that one out to midfield. Kaylee Jackson with some time here as she looks up to her right midfielder.
Right now there's a lot of long ball, and players aren't playing off the ball, and they're not, in fact, taking opportunities when they can create those numeric advantages. Those 50-50 balls are going to turn into a problem for either the Indians or the Cougars tonight. There's going to be that one turnover that's going to be trouble.
Yeah, I'd have to say it comes down to conditioning as well, Mr. Hunter. You know, which team has conditioned themselves better for the end of the game when you got to give that 110%?
Well, no question, the lactic acid has definitely built up, and I think we're starting to see that with about 17 minutes left in this contest. And you can start to see that some players don't have quite what they had in that first half.
The Indians sending in Kelly Sarbo. Gregoire carrying this one across the field, and she chips that one outside to Fredette. Fredette able to gather that one up, and it's sent out of bounds. So the Cougars will have a throw in here deep in the Indians' zone.
I think both Amy Chase as well as Tim Superna, they've made equal substitutions, and I think that
Fredette with that
a lot of
ball.
those younger players have worked out pretty well.
Shot from the 18, that's Kate Houghton, and that was on net, but just unable to get a good hard shot there as Russo picks that one up. And I apologize for cutting you off there. You were saying the adjustments.
I think both Amy Chase, the Indians coach, as well as Coach Superna for the Cougars, have given opportunity to players off the bench, and I think the bench players have provided some of that opportunity that the starting players have needed to kind of give those legs a rest.
Well, I think that's one of the important things during the regular season is if you plan on going somewhere in the state playoffs, it's not all about your starters. You know, you have to look at being successful, how much can you get your second string players to improve throughout the season, because you never know when that season-ending injury is going to come for your best player, or academics prevents a player from playing. And if you've got a player on the bench who's improved throughout the season and they can fill in that gap, it's going to help your team out a lot more. So,
well, I'm a coach that believes that if you can have a deep bench, then you can play the game of press, and when you can press, a lot of good things happen. If you watch the EPL and you watch Liverpool, you can see exactly what Klopp has done with the press, and it's an important part of the game.
And we'll have Marley Sample closing in on Brusso, and Brusso doing a fine job coming down, sliding on her side, protecting that ball, not giving Marley Sample any opportunity. And
well, I tell you, I think that's all that Chase can ask out of her goaltender tonight. She's been in the right spot at the right time.
And I believe this is her first year. I thought I heard somebody say it was her first year playing soccer and being a goalkeeper, and I can tell you this is my third time watching her this year, and she's been absolutely outstanding in goal. On her toes, aggressive, heads up, always talking to her defense, and she's really helping her team out here.
And one discussion that I constantly try to have with other coaches is where we have our goaltenders play. Like right now, the ball's in the upper part of the northeastern third, and the Indians' tender is still in between the lines. They ought to be playing up around the 12 so they can be part of that counterattack.
So Sample working hard, looking into the 18. She had 3 Indian players around her as that's sent across to the opposite side of the field. Good job there as Cologne gets a foot on it, sends it in. And we'll have a scrum in the middle of the field as it appeared as though the Cougars are just walking over there. Indians transition, nice touch there as she's going to break in all alone. Racine coming out, player goes down, and we will have a whistle, a stoppage in play here, and it appears as though we are going to have a penalty shot for the Peru Indians. That was Taylor Haywood breaking in as she's taken out, and the referee with a stoppage in play here. 13-19 left in the second half, and he is talking to Hollister. She's presented with a yellow card. I would assume that the referee felt that Hollister took Haywood out with no intent on the ball, so she will be sent off here, and the Indians will have a penalty shot. So crucial moment here for Abby Racine and number 10 Hallie Leduc for each of their teams.
Well, when you're not communicating in the backs and you end up getting caught a little bit flat, sometimes you're forced to play a little aggressive, and I think Adriana Hollister played a little aggressive, more aggressive than what she needed to, and Leduc will get the opportunity here.
So Leduc set to take this, and we have the whistle. Racine in net, shot taken. Racine with a big save off her hand. She comes out to the 6, goes down on that ball, and that is a huge moment.
Start to clap
there for the Cougars. Racine coming up big, and she is slow to get up as the referee is in to check on her.
Well, I can say that I know that Abrielle has had some concerns this season in terms of being able to bring certain levels of intensity, and that opportunity right there, she made herself big, and Haley Leduc actually kind of shot the ball right at her instead of trying to pick the corners.
Well, Racine started leaning as Leduc was set to take that. Racine started leaning to her left, leaned a little bit to the left, and was able to get her hands on that. I would say Leduc is probably wishing right now that she had more of a corner on that one, but we're back in action here, and great save there for the Cougars, and we'll have a free kick here for the Cougars. The fans really getting into it now as Gagnon sends a long ball up. Marley Sample closing in and unable to collect that ball. Croncray all alone has some room in front of her. She's chipping that one up. Looking for Bryn Sample. Bryn Sample breaking in. Goalkeeper coming out. They're going to meet at the end line, and another fine job by Brusso as she gathers that ball and prevents a scoring opportunity for the Cougars. So we're getting a little intensity here, Mr. Hunter, as time winds down. Just under 12 minutes remaining, a 1-1 tie.
Well, I think the fans are getting everything that they've asked for out of this quarterfinal match. They're seeing an intensity out of both of these teams, and they're playing very hard for the 50-50 balls, and it'll be interesting to see how this last 12 minutes plays out.
And I think you would agree. Nice pullback there by Sample. She's looking to send it in. The Cougars will have a corner kick here. So Cougars will be sending Leah Colombe over to take this corner kick. Against Beaventown, she took some fine corner kicks, and she needs to place this ball somewhere around the top of the 6-yard box, not giving Brusso any opportunity to get her hands on it.
It'll be interesting to see if Coach Supernau has actually worked on any of these restarts, specifically corner kicks, if he's got some different formations that he might be running in this quarterfinal contest.
Nice ball played into the top of the 6. Brusso out to get it, and she gets her hands right on that ball. So great opportunity there for the Cougars. Unfortunately, nobody on the keeper there. She was given a free path right out to the 6-yard box, and the Indian fans calling for a push as Croncray definitely playing the body there and not the ball. So Allie Post with a free kick here.
I think you hit the nail right on the head. There was nobody marking up the goalie, and that's one of the things you want to do on those corner kicks or on those restarts. Get some traffic in front of that tender.
Well, the Cougars throughout the season haven't put anybody on the keeper, so nice ball played up over right into the net, and Racine out to grab this one. So the Cougars defense caught off guard there as the ball just freely rolled into the 18. I believe that was Haywood again on that far side looking to collect that ball. So we'll have a battle here in the middle as Mackenzie Carpenter hooking the arm of Brinley LaFountain, and the referee finally calling that one as we get down to under 10 minutes to go here in the second half.
Both the arms were down, so that's interesting to see that the official would make that call so quick instead of let him play out on the ball.
So the Indians defense pulling up, and currently the Cougars in an offsides position. Not sure if Houghton's aware of that, but she was about 12 feet offsides there as the Indians defense was pulling up. Cougars moving into the offensive end along the end line, looking across it. point blank shot there by Houghton, and she sends that one high and wide. So good opportunity there for the Cougars as both teams are sending substitutions in. We'll have Hollister coming back into the game. And for the Indians, we have number 12 and number 21. That's Bella Bedard and Riley Luckins.
Well, I think Coach Chase wanted to give Luckins a little bit of a break. We know what kind of trouble that she's presented for the Cougars tonight. It's good to see Kay Houghton get a quick shot on that, just as you talked about earlier on in the first half. It looks like the Cougars are not waiting for that perfect opportunity to shoot the ball.
So that ball headed into the box. Cougars unable to get anything. Dumas with a long shot, and that's going to be just a little wide as the Cougars had nobody far wide on the left wing, and the Indians clear that one up the field. Hollister picks this one up. Looking back for Marley Sample. Sample getting a foot on it, and that's going to roll gently into the hands of Brusso.
Well, I'll tell you, they're not giving Marley Sample the forward for Northeastern Clinton, or I should say a natural 10, a lot of space. It appears like Allie Beattie is pretty tight marking on her, so she's going to have to earn any shots she's going to get.
Sample likes to gather that ball and then try to make a quick turn to the net, and that's what I've noticed with teams this year is they just are not giving her that opportunity to turn as this ball is played up the far side. Bryn Sample making a run on it, sends it across and into the hands of Brusso.
Well, the Indians are doing a nice job keeping the Cougars to the outside in the channels and trying to knock down any opportunities as that ball comes across into the box.
Cologne taking a forearm to the back as she's able to get rid of it. That's up to Houghton in the middle of the field, and a long ball played up. We'll have a foot race on the far side of Haywood and Gagnon. Haywood definitely with the advantage in speed there as Gagnon steps over. Looking to make a tackle on that ball, and that's played in the middle. Haywood in an opportune area. She's going to go to the end line. Gagnon over, and Gagnon will send that one out of bounds as the Indians have a corner kick. And the Cougars are going to have to be careful because Haywood's got a little bit of speed back there. Obviously, Gagnon with that previous knee injury isn't as fast side to side, so Cougars don't want to be seeing a speedy Indian player coming down the field with Gagnon straight on.
I'll tell you, Olivia's experience, though, has allowed her to be able to understand what her limitations are, and she's very smart in terms of.
And that ball played back, wide open shot there, and that's blocked by Gagnon, so Gagnon with a nice effort there. And that's one of the things. She's able to recognize that disadvantage back there on defense playing the sweeper position, and unfortunately it restricts how proactive I guess she can be because she's got to be careful for that mistake to not end up in that one-on-one foot race with somebody.
Absolutely.
Sample playing that ball back. It's going to be chipped into the 18, and that goes out of bounds, and we'll have a goal kick for the Cougars.
Well, the Indians seem to continue to be stretching the field to try to open up that middle. I think they're looking for that long ball, noticing that, again, the backs are providing a little bit of a gap in between that and the sweeper.
So Emma Fredette back into the game for the Cougars. Cologne doing a nice job of stepping up from the defensive position as she looks to get back and help out her team, and she's going to get beat in the far side. Gagnon stepping over to cover for her. And Gagnon able to turn that ball back to the inside and play it up to Emma Fredette. So Fredette and Post going at it. Post definitely with a size advantage, and Cougars able to come away with that. Hollister at the top of the 18 looks to get rid of it and sends it up to Marley Sample. The fountain breaking down the right side. We got Kaya McComb looking to send it up, and she plays that right to the foot of the Indians player as Hallie LeDuc looks to get her team going on offense.
It appears the opportunities that the Cougars had in the first half of being able to kind of time those runs doesn't seem to be playing out as well for them in this second half.
Jackson looking in middle of the field, and both teams battling as Jackson goes down and play goes on. Marley Sample collision right there, both players straight up. Sample playing on as the referees felt both players are straight up there. Good hustle, and both teams will battle on the far side as this is sent over to Leah Colombe.
Well, Cougars' Kate Houghton saw the opportunity of the run from Emma Fredette, kind of played the ball, but Emma Fredette didn't time that run, and it allowed for a Cougar or a Indian counterattack.
McComb with some good hustle there as she moves up the field, and she'll be called for a foul there as Jackson went down on that play.
Well, with a little over 3 minutes left, it's interesting to see with so much midfield play if either coach will make any transitions to try to win this in regulation.
Sample playing this up the middle. Marley Sample closing in, and Brusso comes off of her line and grabs this one. It's another heads-up play by Brusso, and at this point, we'll have Sample call for offside. She's got her arms up, not understanding why, but that's because she was in the offensive or the offsides position, came back to an onside position first to touch it, so she was offsides there. So we're down to just under 2 minutes and 20 seconds left here in the second half. That ball is played into Brusso, and you have to wonder right now if both coaches and players are saying, let's take this one to overtime, or if somebody is going to take a chance and try to get that game-winning goal just before the end of regulation.
Well, hopefully
here we go. Marley
both coaches
Sample
are trying to
look
for where they can have mismatch opportunities on the field. If you can kind of switch a couple players around and take advantage of those mismatches, that's going to be an important piece right now.
So deflection there, and we're going to have Haywood breaking in, Racine coming out, Gagnon battling with her, and that ball is just going to be sent wide. So the fans going crazy there, not sure what's going to happen. Gagnon and Haywood shoulder to shoulder battling, and that ball just trickles wide to the left of Abby Racine. So tough spot there for the Cougars. You don't want to get called for that penalty inside the box and have a game end like that.
Well, I think you have to play aggressive on the ball, and I think that was properly called by the officials.
Oh, definitely. Good hustle there by both players, and Gagnon making me a little nervous because she's been called for, well, she got called down to PHS for a penalty shot, or for a foul in the box, and there's a ball played in behind. We'll have Haywood breaking and Racine out, and she just grabs that one in time. Gagnon, you know, she's been on team 5 years. She's a physical player, bigger than a lot of the girls she plays against, and sometimes she comes in straight up and you know, the other player goes down with straight up contact and she gets called for those fouls. So,
well, sometimes players can kind of see that opportunity, and if they actually can play it and hopefully get the read by the official.
Another long ball played in right across the 6-yard box, and a shot taken in off the side of the net by Riley Luckins. So Luckins looking to pick up the game-winning goal, or it would be her second of the game, as we wind down to 15 seconds left here. We're going to have a quick corner kick for the Indians. We'll have to see if they can get this one off.
Well, hopefully Coach Supernaut gets everybody back inside the 6, and everybody's inside marks are tight.
Beautiful ball played in 6-yard box, into the box, off the, as time expires, and the Peru fans screaming for a handball, as it did appear that it went off the hand of Coulombe. No call there. It must be the players obstructed the referee's view, but Cougars catching a huge break.
As we know, it's always very difficult to kind of see every angle of this game, and I think the Cougars escaped a big opportunity there that the Indians very well could have been sent to the to the PK line. And it looks like we're headed to overtime.
And that would have been a heartbreaker for the Cougars if it would have ended that way, but it didn't. So we're going to overtime here in this quarterfinal action here at Northeastern Clinton. We have a 1-1 score, and we will be back shortly.
Well, we're back on here, and the play right now is in the midfield, and the Indians are trying to move the ball up the right channel. Hallie Leduc does a nice job of being able to hold off Kaya McComb, and the ball is now moved to the left-hand channel for the Indians.
Maybe Rick, you can explain what we're doing here with the 10-minute overtimes.
Well, when the play goes to overtime, instead of a golden goal, at least during the regular season anyway, you will end up playing 2 10-minute sessions, regardless of whether either team scores. Abby Racine takes a shot from well outside the low third. And now the Cougars are getting an opportunity with Marley Sample breaking down the left-hand side. Ball's loose. Marley Sample takes a shot, and it appears like number 2, in fact, has actually been in behind and properly helped Brousseau with the save. And the Indians escaped a big one there.
Where the rosters went?
So the Indians back in defense there as the Cougars looking to keep this in. And that's played over the sideline as Dumas will throw this one in. Marley Sample playing this back. Good opportunity there for Horner. She couldn't get a foot on. McComb stepping up at the 18 and sails that one high over the net.
Well, the Indians have really got to be thanking Abby Bruce right now, because that opportunity was definitely in Marley Sample's sights. It doesn't appear like either coach has made any formation changes in this overtime. It looks like each are trying to just be aggressive on the ball and hope for the best opportunities.
So Haley the turn on number 14 when that ball is just chipped into the Cougars defense. Olivia Gagnon over to play this, and she safely sends that one out of bounds to the Peru Indian fans. So we'll have 2 10-minute overtimes here. Got to play all of them in both full 10-minute overtime periods in girls soccer. Whether or not anybody scores, and that ball's played out of bounds in front of the Cougar fans.
Well, Livy Garvey, the junior, doesn't want to take any chances there with Marley Sample coming hard to the ball, so she just plays the ball out, and the Cougars will have a throw-in in the upper third.
So we'll have Cronkite coming into the game. For Olivia Gagnon, it appears that McComb will move back to the sweeper position in place of Gagnon. Hollister with some time chipping it to the 18, and Gregoire closing in, unable to get to that ball. Marley Sample over, shot by Dumas, and that is going to be wide to the right of Brousseau. So good opportunity there, Dumas with the right idea. Ripping that shot, but unfortunately couldn't get that one on net.
I think the message in overtime must have been pretty clear from Coach Supernon, and that is anytime that ball is 25 yards and in, you need to get on the ball.
So I was downstairs in between start of the first overtime and the end of regulation, and a few of the fans said, "Chris, did we ever get lucky at the end on that one?" I said, "You saw it too?" They're like, "Yeah, we saw the handball," and Cougars catching a big break there.
Well, every once in a while, teams will get those breaks. Sometimes you're not a cat, you don't have 9 lives,
Yep.
and hopefully the Cougars can make this pay. But if you're Amy Chase and the Indians, they're looking to kind of bring it back the other way.
So Clone working hard on the far side. She sends that one right into the middle of the field. That's to the Indians' Mackenzie Carpenter. Long ball played into the corner on the far side. That's chipped in off the foot of McComb. And is McComb going to get there? She is able to right back to the foot of Allie Post as she sends it inside the box. LeDuc sending it in, and Racine will pick this ball up at the top of the 6-yard line.
I'm surprised when that ball came back out of the box that the Cougars didn't pull up quick. The midfield or the inside backs weren't communicating, and they would have had number 3, which is Taylor Haywood, offsides.
Well, Haywood's given the Cougars defense fits in this second half here. She's had a couple great scoring opportunities. Actually, I think she had 3, just her and Racine, unable to put that ball in the back of the net, but definitely being a thorn in the side of the Cougars. Letourneau down the left side, corner of the 18. She's going to get forced to the outside as she's looking back for Sample, and the Indians will come away with this. All alone with some room ahead of her, that is Jackson looking up the field. She's got LeDuc with the ball. LeDuc with 3 Cougar players on her, and she sends that in to Gabby Dumas in the middle.
Well, that's one of the things I'm constantly saying to my midfielders is that when you get a ball in the channel, if you can come...
Jackson chipping a long ball in. Racine out to grab this one, and she was able to grab that as Haywood was closing in again. And you were saying about your midfielders?
With the when the ball's played into the channels, if you can come central, it opens up that space behind and allows for those overlaps and those opportunities, again, creating those numeric advantages.
So we'll have 3 substitutes in for the Cougars. Looks like we have Emma Fredette, Brindley LaFountain, Olivia Gagnon, and that appeared to be Kelly Sarbo, number 1, coming in for the Indians.
Well, as you played 88 minutes of soccer, both coaches are going to look to try to keep a close eye on each of their players and determine when subs are necessary.
We'll have to see where this goes as far as the Cougars are concerned. This isn't uncharted territory for them this year. It seems like they've played overtime almost every game. And last year in the championship game against Beavertown, they went 2 10s, 2 5s, and a shootout before they could eventually win that game. So some of the players in this team know what it's like to get to that point of the shootout, and I'm sure they'd rather take care of it here in the first or second 10-minute overtime period.
Well, I know that Coach Supernaut has been working on PKs in the last few practices because you never know when it's going to come down to the old deadly PK.
But you're taking your chances going to the penalty kick shootout. It doesn't matter who you have on your team to shoot, how good they are. Everybody has a bad day every now and then. And there's a nice move by Houghton. Houghton looking to take a shot, and that's deflected out of bounds by Allie Post. So the Indians will some good work there by Post to prevent that shot. And we look back to last year. We had first shooter for the Beavertown Eagles in the championship game against Cougars was Callie Villamere. And if I had to pick there's a long shot by Hollister. Far side, Marley Sample breaking in, getting a head on it, and that's deflected out by the Indians defense. So good chance there by Sample. McComb taking a long shot right into the abdomen area of Brousseau. So the Cougars have 2 good opportunities there, just unable to get a goal. Nice pump there by Brousseau. And as I was saying, Callie Villamere, first shooter for the Eagles last year. And she took that shot, and it appeared as it was in, and couldn't believe it, but she actually shot the ball wide, and that's, if I had to pick anybody in the league as who the gold would be, who I'd want there, it would have been her. So, you know, we all have bad days.
Sometimes our better athletes aren't necessarily those players that actually play with the cold steel veins. And sometimes when the pressure's put upon you, sometimes you get a little bit, you know, out of whack.
And that's the end of the first 10 minutes of overtime here at Northeastern Clinton. And at the end of 10 minutes in overtime, the score remains 1-1 between the Indians and Cougars.
If I was to kind of highlight a couple of points of emphasis if I'm Amy Chase, I'd say that number one, you want to get the ball out of the feet quicker, and you want your counterattack to be a lot faster, because there's been opportunities in that second half where I thought the Indians really had mismatches against the Cougars. And if I'm Tim Supernaw, I think one of the things we want to start to do is we want to start to kind of spread the field a little bit, play the ball out into the channels, and then look for those opportunities coming back negative.
All right. We're back.
All right, welcome back, fans. And we'll be starting the second 10-minute overtime here between the Northeastern Clinton Cougars and Peru Indians, as the Cougars' Kelly Sarbo will start the action. These teams knotted up in a 1-1 tie, and back and forth action in the first overtime. Nice move there by Fredette, and she is unable to get a shot off as Colombe stepping up, takes a long shot, and she will send that to the end line as Russo picks that one up, tiptoeing the end line.
Well, I think Leah Coulomb, the junior, was hoping to kind of catch Russo off her mark, and the ball was wide.
So Hollister sending that one straight up in the air as Sarbo looks to get that, and we'll have battle of the number ones here as McComb with a nice move, Sarbo going down. Nice through ball played up to Bryn Sample. Bryn Sample into the 18. Brusso out, and Brusso with a nice sliding grab there. Alley post at midfield is going to send a nice ball at the left side. That's Emily Beatty. Her and Colombe will be fighting for this ball as it rolls to the end line. The referee letting them play as it's sent to the 18, and McComb will gather this one. And Fredette will look up for her teammate, but that's sent into the Indians' defense. Long ball played in as Marley Sample will try to chase this one down at the 18, looking for that mistake, but a fine job there by Allie Beatty to turn that outside, and a long shot's taken by Bryn Sample, and another save by Brusso. Big punt and a big bounce there, and Sarbo coming away with it, looking to send that one down the middle of the field, and Hollister stepping into the middle as she had a Indian offensive player bearing down on her.
Right now the Indians are giving the fullback some fits for the Cougars. The ball is bouncing around just
Alley
outside the
Post
18.
and Gagnon battle in there as the arms go up, and Post getting a shot up that's sent into the 6-yard box, and Hollister kind of waited for it there as she had LeDuc closing in on her, and you definitely have to go to that ball when it's coming across the 6-yard. Nice overlap there by Bryn Sample, but Cougars unable to get it to her. Hollister just kicking that ball up the field as it'll easily roll into the hands of Brusso, and we're closing in on 7 minutes here remaining in the second 10-minute overtime.
Hollister had space and time to take that one more touch and allow Bryn Sample to get out wide and possibly have a channel opportunity.
Hollister going down, and the Indians will send this one into the 18, and Sarbo from the top of the 18 unable to collect that ball as it rolls across to number 5, Emily Beatty, and she will send that one in as Racine lets it go out of bounds, and the Cougars will have a goal kick here. Indians will be sending in a substitute.
One of the things I'm always telling my modified players is in your lower third, never let the ball run across you, because if you do, opportunities can happen. And right there, it looked like Haywood might have been able to get to that ball and might have made the Cougars pay.
So we got Taylor Haywood back into the game here, and I think if I could pick anybody that I would want to score the winning goal if it were the Indians, I would have to say Haywood, because she has worked hard up front for the Indians tonight, had some great opportunities, and she's given the Cougars defense fits.
I think she's made Amy Chase very happy. I think that she's won a lot of the 50 balls.
And a stick there by the Cougars. Gagnon stepping up as she is able to break up the offensive run there by the Cougars, or by the Indians. So the Indians definitely going to the ball hard here in the second 10 minutes, and Indians are a strong physical team, and the Cougars typically not that way, and they're going to have to step up their game here, get physical and play with them, because they're not going to wait around for you.
No, it's definitely evident that Coach Chase has told them to be much more physical, especially in that middle third.
A nice turn there by Bruna LaFountain as she looks to move the ball up the field in front of her bench. She's now being shielded off by Mackenzie Carpenter, and is able to come away with that ball, and Marley Sample making a run down the left side, and she's got 2 defenders on her. Looking to cut it back. Not much help over there for her as she looks to the middle. That's Kate Houghton. And rolls by a Cougar player, and it's sent back out. And Hollister with a nice head there, but it goes right off the head of the Indians player. A little pinball there, and both teams are vying for possession here as McComb comes away with it, and then she has it taken back. No foul there. Good hustle by both players as this ball goes to the outside, and we will have a foul called on Bryn Sample.
Well, the Indian fullback did a nice job of actually holding Bryn Sample off, and to a point where Bryn was actually taking an arm, and the Indians were moving the opposite direction.
Well, as this game goes on and we wind down just under 3 minutes here, I can tell you that it's going to take a pretty good foul for the refs to call this one, or call a foul. Nice ball played in. Marley Sample just outside the box. McComb, top of the 18, rips a shot. Nice dive and save there by Brusso. Was able to get her left hand on it as she dove to the left, and that ball was destined for the back of the net.
Well, the play began with Bryn Sample on the outside channel crossing that ball. Ball came back outside the box, and Kaya McComb didn't take much time, and she settled into the ball pretty hard, and Brusso was up to the task, and the Cougars will take a corner kick to Brusso's left.
So we got Leah Colombe stepping over. We had Maggie LaFountain coming into the game. Gagnon, Cronkite, all the defense stepping up. Thought they were possibly looking for a short corner here, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. Ball sent in, and Dumas looking back for Cronkite, and she tries to get a shot and just pops that one straight up. McComb inside the box. Somebody looking to get a foot on it. Shot taken there and just over the hands of Brusso as that one goes wide. And I don't think Brusso got her hand on it, so it looks as though we'll have a goal kick for the Indians.
That is correct. Kate Houghton actually got a shot on that ball, and it didn't even touch Brusso, and so the goalie kick will occur, and it looks like the Indians are trying to decide who's going to take this goalie kick.
There was a little confusion there by the Cougars on that. Gagnon was moving up, looking for a short corner, I guess the top of the 18, and then started to back up and wasn't really sure where they wanted her. As the Indians transition here, they're at midfield. That's Haywood playing a ball up to the far side to Hallie Leduc, and just too much on that one. A long ball played out, mistake there by the defense. Marley Sample looking to track that one down, and Jackson doing a good job of making sure she doesn't take off with the ball. And Maggie LaFountain up at the corner of the 18. And that one's sent out over to the Peru bench. So the Cougars looking to get one more good scoring opportunity here, as they're going to have another throw in. We're closing in, 30 seconds left here in the second 10-minute overtime. And that ball thrown to the middle, and the Indians looking for one last opportunity, and not sure that was the best option for the Cougars there. Gagnon last one back, and she'll chip that back up. Ball bouncing around. We're down to 10 minutes as Hollister goes down. No call there. Haywood with the ball. 5 seconds to go. Haywood sending it up the field, and that's the way it's going to end here at the end of the second 10 full minutes of overtime here at Northeastern Clinton in this quarterfinal Class B girls soccer. The Indians and Cougars still tied at 1-1.
Sudden death.
All right, fans, welcome back. We are here for the start of the first sudden victory, sudden death, whatever you want to call it. 5-minute overtime in this Section 7 Class B quarterfinal match between the Cougars and the Indians. As the ball rolls out, and we have Sample and Mackenzie Carpenter getting into it as some forearms go back and forth there. I'd say that's some good friendly soccer.
Well, both those players actually play Premier Travel during the off season, so they probably know each other pretty well.
That usually makes the battle more intense. So McComb, 20 yards out, looking to take a shot, and that's alley post blocking that shot as Hollister steps up, and it's going to be Gagnon and Ledoux battling, and Gagnon coming away with that one, and she had her hands full there. If Ledoux won that battle, it was one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and Gagnon, being a senior, didn't want to let that happen.
Well, I think the experience kind of took over there, and Olivia was able to be up to the task.
Another long ball played up, and Racine a little hesitant to come off of her line, and she comes out and get that one. So Racine definitely here in the final overtimes is going to have to be on her toes, and the minute that long ball is played in, and we've seen already Peru twice now is just playing that long ball up, trying to beat the Cougar defense.
Yeah, Abby Racine has got to be on her game. She's got to be able to make that decision. Does she come out? And she can't hesitate. Hesitation's going to be
with a nice run on the outside, takes a shot, and that's going to be wide. And Brousseau with a mishandle there. She could have let that go for a goal kick. She decided on the run to play that, and she dropped it out of bounds. And the Cougars with a great opportunity here. Corner kick, and it looks as though Hollister is going to be taking this one. Everybody up but two for the Cougars. Nice ball played in. Head on it by Houghton and right into the hands of Brousseau. So textbook corner kick right there. That's exactly what you want. But Brousseau in the right place at the right time for the Indians.
And again, we talked about this earlier on. There's nobody in front of that goalie. On those corner kicks, you've got to have some traffic in front that kind of helps your cause so that she doesn't see the play and she can't get the hands on the ball.
And the thing is, I mean, Brousseau's a tall player to begin with, so she's at an advantage already. And then to not have anybody on her, it only makes it easier for her. So Dumas with the ball, taking a long shot off of Sample's head. Bryn LaFountain in there. Houghton getting in. Houghton shielding off the ball, and that's right into the hands of Brousseau. So Indians player there doing a good job of shielding the ball, not giving Houghton any opportunity to get a good hard shot off.
Yeah, the backs for the Indians have played very well tonight. They've made it so that the Cougars have really had to work extra hard to be able to even get a foot on the ball.
Cronkite looking up for Marley Sample, and that ball's going to bounce back and forth as Cronkite just sends that one into the net. And good idea there, but not going to create a scoring opportunity for the Cougars. They're going to look for that nice low through ball for the offense and hope that they can get a free look at the net. So Gagno getting turned around here as Haywood takes that ball. She's got Luckins on the left side, and Haywood taking a long shot and right into the hands of Abby Racine.
Well, both the goalies have been up to the task, not only in regulation, but also in overtime. Both Brousseau and Racine have been in the right place to make those easy saves, which sometimes aren't so easy.
Well, and we say, you know, how often have I said right to the hands of the goalkeeper, and, you know, it's not that the shooter is shooting it right at the goalkeeper. It's the goalkeeper's cutting those angles, putting themselves in the right position, predicting where that shot's going to go, and that's why they're right there for it. So a lot more goes into goalkeeping than what we think. It's all about positioning yourself before that shot. So just under 10 seconds, and we will have Leduc on the right side battling with Gagno, and Gagno able to clear that one out as time winds down, and that'll be the end of the third overtime. It's the first 5-minute sudden death overtime here between the Cougars and Indians, and we're still tied at 1-1. And what did you think, Mr. Hunter, of that 5-minute period?
Well, I think both teams played very apprehensive. I think there was a lot more aggressive play in the center part of the field, but as far as when the ball actually was played, into the lower thirds, I thought some players played a little bit tentative, and I think they've got to be a little bit more assertive and aggressive on the ball.
Well, with that said, we'll have to wait here a few minutes, and we'll see what adjustments each team makes, and see if they can get that game-winning goal in the last 5-minute period of overtime. All right, you're back with Chris Gagno and Mr. Rick Hunter here at Northeastern Clinton. We have the fourth overtime session between these two teams. It's the second 5-minute sudden death overtime, and we're just waiting for the Cougars to get started here on the whistle, and Marley Sample will play that back to McComb, and she sends it up the field looking for Bryn Sample. Alley Post looking up the field for Hallie Leduc. And a little hesitation there by Colombe. Not sure what was going on there, but the Indians, Sarbo closing in on that one quickly. Sarbo with the throw-in. Dumas tapping that one back to the Indian player, and she'll look to play it again, and she lets that one for Leah Colombe, and Colombe with an obvious limp back there. Not sure what's going on with her as she slowly makes her way up the field. Houghton coming across looking for this throw-in, and it'll be Marley Sample at the corner 18. Nice ball over to Bryn Sample. Sample with a nice cross right to McComb, and Brindley LaFountain with it inside the 18, and she got turned backwards and unable to get a shot off. And that was a beautiful cross there by Bryn Sample, and unable to get a scoring opportunity as Hollister shielding the ball off, sends a long one in, and Brousseau coming out to get this one before Sample can get to it.
Well, the Indians gave the Cougars plenty of space inside of that box. And if the Cougars were able to get even a body and kind of move the ball forward, it very well could have ended up in the back of the net.
So we talked about conditioning as we went into the first 10-minute overtime, and you definitely can see players slowing down, a lot more standing going on. As a ball played through to Bryn Sample in, Brusso out, and Brusso once again coming up with this ball. Definitely seeing some more standing going on at this point.
And right now you can see the officials.
There's a mistake by the Cougars. That ball is sent through by Haywood. Haywood running in. Racine out to get it. Plays it off her foot, and that went right off the face as she kicked it out as this ball goes to the corner, and the two players will battle over there for possession of the ball. Post trying to move into the 18, splitting the two players, and that's going to be sent out by Gabby Dumas. Substitutes here. One player for each team coming in. I believe that is Laterno coming in, and I didn't catch the number on the Peru player. That is number 2, Abby Bruce, coming into the game. So we're just under 2 minutes here, and if this one ends with no score in this 5-minute period, we'll be going to a shootout. Both teams will be sending 5 players out in the field for that shootout, and Leah Colombe looking to send that ball to the middle of the field, and that'll be so no team really gaining possession here. McComb from the outside the 18 looking to get a shot off, and just a little off balance as she tried to volley that one out of the air. Couldn't get a lot of power on it, and right into the hands of Brusso. Gagno being called off by Houghton. Marley Sample with some hustle there. She's going to be on the left side of the field. 2 Indian defenders, and they send that out of bounds. So we're down to 50 seconds here, and the Cougars pressing the Indians in the offensive end. And Hollister getting beat on that as Leduc breaks up the field, playing a long ball up to number 2, Bruce, and Bruce was all alone, couldn't gather that one as the Cougars defense breaks that one up and looks to move up the field for one last scoring opportunity. So under 20 seconds here, the Cougars with a throw-in. This could be it for the last scoring opportunity. That's into the 18 and back out to Bryn Sample and out of bounds. Long shot played by Colombe. That's going to break across 6-yard box, and that'll be the end of play here in the second sudden-death 5-minute overtime. And we still have a 1-1 tie here between the Indians and the Cougars, and we will go to penalty shots now.
And it looks like some of the fans can't handle it, and they're walking away. The suspense is just too much.
Oh my God, I almost just go again.
All right, welcome back, fans. We are getting all set here for our penalty kick shootout in this quarterfinal action between the Peru Indians and the Northeastern Clinton Cougars, and both teams have picked their 5 plays. All out at the middle of the field, along with the goalkeepers and the players. We're going to be shooting in the goal to our left. Unfortunately for one of these teams, it's going to be the end of their season, and for the other one, it's going to be an unbelievable ending to this quarterfinal match. You sometimes hate to see it end this way, but it's all going to end somehow. Gotta have a winner and see who goes on. So at this point, it's going to come down to which teams work the hardest on their penalty shots and which goalkeeper worked the hardest this year in net to give their team the victory.
And a little bit of luck.
and a little bit of luck.
You see a lot of crossbars, you see a lot of goalposts in these things, you know, just inches can make the difference.
Well, there's a whole lot more pressure on this shot that you're taking than what there would be at the second or third game of the season.
Oh, definitely.
You know, when you're standing up there and you're put in a position where you have to make that shot or your team loses, a lot of pressure for a young soccer player. So, I guess the word is composure. So for Peru, it looks like we're going to have number 4 Mackenzie Carpenter, number 1 Kelly Sarbo, number 10 Hallie Ledoux, 14 Allie Post, and 16 Hannah Myers. Those will be your shooters for the Peru Indians, and for the Cougars, we have Kaya McComb, Olivia Gagno, Haley Letourneau, Marley Sample, and I believe it's Kate Houghton that's also going to be shooting. So our first shooter is going to be the Cougars. This is going to be Haley Letourneau taking this shot, and she's going to wait for the referee's whistle as Brusso stands in her line. And there's the whistle. Letourneau ready to take her shot. Approaches left foot and in the back of the net as she goes midway up the net to the right of the goalkeeper. Beautiful shot there as she puts the Cougars up 1-0 here in the shootout. Warm reception for her over there with her other 4 shooters. And we have Kelly Sarbo making the long stroll from midfield up to place the ball for her shot. This will be the Indians' first shot. Racine moving around there on her line, getting warmed up, and she will wait for the whistle here for Sarbo to shoot. Whistle, and Sarbo set. And Sarbo sends that one high over the top of the net. So the Cougars take a 1-0 lead here early after both teams send up their first shooters. And for the Cougars, that is number 21, Caitlin Houghton. Houghton, a senior on this team, and looking for her opportunity to shine here. Brusso on her line. We have the whistle. Houghton approaching the ball, takes a shot, and right in the back of the net. Brusso looked like she chose the right direction, went down to her knees, and that kind of went a little bit high, and the Cougars up 2-0 as Mackenzie Carpenter, number 4, looks to get the Indians' first penalty kick here. So Racine with some good saves tonight, some good point-blank saves, and she just got to pick the right direction here and get her hands on this to tip it away. And Carpenter takes a shot, and a beautiful shot, and that'll be to the right of a diving Abby Racine. So each team has sent up 2 shooters. The Cougars ahead 2-1 at this point. And the Cougars, Kaya McComb goes up to the penalty line. She is the Cougars' 3rd shooter. McComb straight on, gets the whistle, left foot, and into the back of the net. And that was almost a leisure there on her part, the way she approached that one. Showing a lot of confidence and puts her team up 3-1 as the Indians send up their 3rd shooter, Hannah Myers, number 16. Racine already on her line, bouncing back and forth, ready for the shot. Myers gets the whistle, right foot, and over the top of the crossbar. So the Cougars looking to finish this one off. So the Cougars looking to finish this one off. This will be the 4th shooter. four-shooter, and
Makes it over.
if Marley Sample, number 13, puts this one in the back of the net, the game is over. Sample set take, it goes to the left and puts it in the back of the net, and she wins it for the Northeastern Clinton Cougars in a shootout here in the quarterfinal match. Marley Sample, far left corner, just about off that post, low, wide, and in the back of the net. Brusso had no chance on that one. Good effort by her, and what a way to finish that game. 1-1 tie throughout. Indians striking first. Cougars coming back to tie the game up, and this one goes all the way to a shootout and finishes kind of the way the Cougars Section 7 season did last year with their penalty shootout win over the Beavertown Eagles. So great effort by both teams. You know, I hate to see a game end this way, but we want to say congratulations to the Northeastern Clinton Cougars, their coaching staff, also to the Peru Indians for a great season, their coaching staff as well for all their hard work. And Peru will play some off-season soccer and get ready for next year. And the Cougars moving on to play at George Brendler Field in beautiful downtown Shazy this Friday night at 5 p.m. They will be playing against the #1 seed Beavertown Eagles, and I'm sure they're looking forward to that, as they've lost to the Eagles twice this year. But both games they were right there with the Beavertown Eagles, and you know, they do have the opportunity to win that game and move on to the finals, and I'm sure they're looking forward to it. So on behalf of Chris Gagnon, Mr. Rick Hunter, Calvin Castan, we thank you for joining us on this beautiful October 16th. And we look forward to you joining us the next time. Thank you.